Hi there, my name is Mark from Apicultural, and today I'm going to show you how to make a sultry bee hotel using recycled pallet wood. First thing you're going to need to do with your pallet is to remove the lats of wood from the pallet, and then you need to remove any nails that are left sticking out of the wood. So if you take a small claw hammer and bash the nails on the top, and then turn them over and use the claw side of the hammer to lift the nails out, removing any nails from the wood, and put those in the bin, dispose of them in the bin. Your wood is now nail free and safe to use. You now need to mark your wood up. So I'm going to use these cardboard nesting tubes in my nest box. You can buy these online. I bought them from a company called Dragonfly. Dragonfly spelt with an I at the end instead of a Y. And they're 15 centimetres long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to measure about a centimetre beyond the tube, because I want a bit of an overhang on my box to protect the tubes from rain. And then you're going to need your saw. So that's one 16 centimetre length, there's another 16 centimetre length there. You can use a ruler if you wish, if you want it to be really precise, but it doesn't have to be. I'm just using the straight edge of my saw to mark the line. I'm going to make the roof a slightly bigger overhang because I want to make sure no rain gets in and wets my nesting tubes. Now we need to saw our wood, so ideally if you have a workbench, use a workbench. If you don't have a workbench, you can do it on a garden table. Just be very careful not to injure yourself, and you're going to cut through the wood with your saw. This pallet wood is very soft and quite easy to cut through, but it's quite brittle and it can sort of crack and splinter, so you've got to be quite careful when you're sawing it. So you're going to cut all of your lengths off your wood, and then once you've done that, you're ready to nail your pallets together. Once you've cut all your pieces of wood to length, you can then sand them down. So some sandpaper or some glass paper, and you can sand down the edges to make the rough edges a bit smoother. It's not absolutely essential, but it just makes them a bit prettier or aesthetically pleasing. I've also cut a small piece of wood, which is going to be the end wall of the box. I'm now ready to nail it together. So I'm going to get one of my pieces, and get some nails. Here I'm using some frame nails that beekeepers use to assemble their frames. They're small nails, but they're just the right size for this thin pallet wood. But use whatever you can get your hands on during the lockdown. that nail, never mind. My 4 walls on. I'm now going to put the back on, which is going to go on there. So just need a few nails in here. There I've got my box. So I've got my box now. Now what we can do is we can paint it, and then we can populate it with our nesting tubes. Once you've constructed your nest box and given it a lick of paint to make it a bit more weatherproof and make it look nicer, you can then populate it with some nesting tubes. I'm using a combination of these 15cm cardboard nesting tubes, which I bought from Dragonfly online. These are just the right length for things like mason bees, patchwork leafcutter bees, orange-vented mason bee, osmia liana, things like that. It's really important that you get the length of your box and the length of your nesting tubes right if you want your bee hotel to be a success. If you make the nest tubes too short, the nesting success of the bees is greatly reduced. The reason for that is the bees tend to produce female offspring at the back of the tube, and then near the front of the tube, where the opening is, they will put 2 or 3 male offspring. And the male offspring are often the first to get parasitized if a parasite tries to enter the nest tube. But you don't need so many males to mate with all the females in the population. So the males are sort of more expendable. But the females at the back of the tubes are really valuable. If you have a short tube, what you get is very, very few females and more males near the entrance. So we end up with a disproportionate sized male population in the community, and not enough females to reproduce. But you also get increased parasitism and you get more parasites. So if you have a longer tube, it's better for the bees. They can produce more offspring, and also means that the bees have to find fewer cavities. They can fill 2 or 3 long cavities with lots of offspring rather than trying to find lots of short cavities, which is harder work for them because they've got to collect more material to seal the entrances with. So about 15 centimetres is a good length. You want the aperture of your tubes to be between 7 and 11 millimetres across. These tubes are about 8 or 9 millimetres across, so they're just the right size for sort of red mason bees for that. You can also use bamboo canes. So some bamboo canes from the garden centre you can buy in different thicknesses, and you want to cut your bamboo canes into 15cm lengths, same as your copper tubes. But you want to cut them so that you have an opening at one end, and at the other end the tube is sealed. So ideally you want to cut where the node is on the stem, and then cut it again so that you've got a section with a solid end and an open end. And sometimes the bamboo is already well hollowed and sometimes it's not. So this one is fairly well hollowed, this one is not. So this one you need to hollow out. So I'm going to use a screwdriver and I'm just going to put it in there and sort of scrape out all the soft pithy centre to hollow out the stem a bit more. Creates a nice cavity for our bees to nest in. The other thing you can use is you can use hollow reed stems. So if you're near a waterway and there's some dry, dead, hollow grass stems, with the landowner's permission, of course, you could harvest some of those, cut them into lengths, and you could use the hollow straws reed stems in your nest box. These are ideal for smaller bees. Some of the small resin bees will use these. There's really small soldier bees, yellow-faced bees might use them, things like that. There are some species of bees which nest almost exclusively inside hollow reed stems and are heavily reliant on old thatched cottage roofs for their nest sites, and those sort of habitats are in decline. So putting some nest boxes with hollow reeds in is quite a good way to support those bees. If you're not near a waterway and you want to use some hollow reeds, what you can buy is this peeled reed stem screening, which you can buy from garden centres. People use it as a decorative screening around fences and things like that. You could use this, and you could pull the straws out of the unit and cut them to size. These cost about £10–15. You can make an awful lot of bee hotels with these. Okay. So I have my bamboos, my hollow tubes. I'm going to put my hollow tubes into my nest box, like so. I'm going to stick some hollow reeds in there as well. In there. And I'm going to stick some bamboo in there as well. Few more cardboard tubes in there just to really fill it out. You want to really pack your box. You want the tubes to be in quite tight together so they don't move around and they're not going to dislodge and come loose. So really squeeze your tubes in, get as many in as you can. You want them really tightly packed together. Now you have your soldier bee nesting box, and now you need to site your nesting box. So ideally you would site your nest box on a fence post or on a wall, ideally somewhere south or southeast facing, where it's going to benefit from the warmth of the sun. That will help the developing bees keep warm and develop quicker. It'll help keep them dry and keep them free of damp and rot as well. Most soldier bees like to patrol up and down linear surfaces looking for nesting sites, so a wall or a fence line is ideal. If you don't have a wall or fence line, you could try putting on a tree or on a fence or on a post in the garden, but the most likely to get used if you put them on a south-facing linear surface. Okay. Another thing to consider is, do you want to cater for just one type of bee and have one size tube in your box, or do you want to have lots of different size tubes to cater for lots of different bees like I have in this box here? Some authorities suggest that you shouldn't encourage mixed aggregations, different species using the same nest box, because it can encourage interspecies disease spread and also encourage parasites. I don't subscribe to that way of thinking. If you look at how bees nest in the wild, soldier bees often nest in large mixed aggregations with lots of species nesting in the same piece of dead wood habitat or the same scar Bangkok cliff. And that's because those sort of nest sites are quite rare and hard to find, so when they do occur, lots of species will use the same site. They'll use them for several years, and once the pests and parasites build up, they'll typically move on and find a new nesting site, so their sort of nesting colony will diminish and they'll find somewhere else to nest. Quite often a river will flood and a new bank will be exposed, creating new clean, pristine nesting habitat for them. So I don't think mixed species aggregations are a problem because they occur in nature, and in nature they deal with it. What I would suggest is that every few years you replace your nest boxes, so take them down, put them somewhere cool and dark where the bees will hatch out but they're not likely to go back and nest in there again, and then once they're empty you can dispose of them and put up a fresh nest box to create fresh nesting habitat, and that way you avoid build-up pests